So I sent whole email saying, are you the same Deepinder Goyal who has launched FoodieBay? And for 2 days he didn't respond because he thought I was a salesperson on Naukri. So there were 2 big decisions on which Deepinder was right and I was wrong. One was the decision to go into food delivery. The second was the decision to... Now, see, we have zero money in Zomato. Everything there is profit.
When you started Naukri.com, what was going on in your head?
Was it to generate wealth?
Was it to make it big in the startup world?
None of them.
Nikhil Kamath ji ने एक बहुत ही अच्छी bold statement दी that you don't need an MBA.
In my personal opinion, colleges are dead. If you're 25 and going to MBA college today, you must be some kind of idiot.
What's your thought on that?
So जिसने MBA नहीं किया है, कैसे क्लेम कर सकता है कि MBA is useless?
I've always seen you as an evangelist for startups.
You don't worry about the ones you say no to. So we said no to Flipkart, we said no to Snapdeal, we said no to Lenskart because we have Zomato and Policybazaar. उसके बाद 100 खून माफ है.
When the world is talking about that AI is going to eat away a lot of jobs, you have 160 people dedicated to that subject.
Will AI replace some jobs? Possibly so. Will it create new jobs?
Going back to the history now, when you started Naukri.com, what was going on in your head? Was it to generate wealth? Was it to make it big in the startup world? Or was it the need of the hour?
None of them. You see, I became an entrepreneur. I quit my job in 1990. We launched Naukri in 97. So for 7 years, we drifted and did a whole bunch of small things. Teaching, training, report writing, salary surveys, trademarks database, maybe 10, 15, 20 small things. And Naukri was one more seemingly small idea, maybe the 21st small idea. Right place, right time, worked hard, worked smart, got lucky. It turned out to be bigger than we thought. So when we launched it, it was a small idea in our heads. हमको 1.5 साल बाद ये महसूस हुआ कि maybe this is a big idea after all. So we had stumbled upon a big idea by accident, trying many things before that. So we felt it was a nifty small idea where we are, which people might want if we are lucky. So was the need of the hour? Maybe. How big a need, we didn't know. How large it will become, we didn't know. When we launched, the internet had only 14,000 accounts in India. Yeah. So it is a small idea. But the internet became big. Venture capital came in. We were in the right place at the right time. We had tailwind behind us. And so we raised venture capital and we grew the company. So, I used to sit in the office in HMM, which is the open hall. हम 6-8 लोग बैठते थे वहाँ पे, mostly from the IIMs, FMS, Bajaj, good business schools. And I used to observe everybody, and the senior guys were in the cabins, we were out in the hall. And I could predict my future. And I could say that if I work here for 5 years and I do a good job, I will be in one of those cabins. If I do a good job there, in 10 years, I'll be in that cabin. Then if I went 15, 20 years, I could be head of marketing either here or somewhere else, if I'm good and lucky. But one thing would keep coming back to me. He says, but उस समय मेरी उम्र थी 24 साल. Right? And I said, at the end of 25 years, when I'm 58, and उस समय 58 retirement age था, and I retire, what will I look back on my life and say? And what will people say about me? And the maximum I can say is that I sold a lot of Horlicks. That's not a bad thing. I'll have built a lifestyle. I would have led a lifestyle. I would have saved some money. I would have built a house somewhere, bought a house somewhere. Materially, I'll be okay. I'd have bought a car. I'd have gone on a few vacations. Maybe a couple of foreign postings. I'm lucky. But I figured I wanted to do more than that. And this is pre-liberalization, right? This is 89, 90. Liberalization was 91. And I could predict my future, and I did not want to do that. And I used to ask myself, hey, what am I chasing?
Yeah.
If my car is 6 inches longer than yours, I'm doing better than you. If I'm living in address X and not in address Y 1 kilometer away, you're doing better than me. I said, this is a rat race I find somewhat futile to chase. I don't.
And that's the clarity you had then.
That's the clarity I had then.
You're not saying it on the hindsight now.
No. उस समय मेरा यही था कि मेरे को ये नहीं करना है. You struggle so hard and you work so hard and you spend so many years to achieve a car that is 6 inches longer. To not live in Murika but live in Vasant Vihar. And I'm saying उसका फायदा क्या है?
मतलब एक 24 साल के लड़की को उस लेवल पे at that point in time you had that clarity.
I would say I was disillusioned. I wouldn't call it clarity. Some amount of disillusionment had set in. What am I chasing? And why am I chasing it?
Yeah. जब आपने कहा कि मैं...
So in hindsight, you can call it clarity.
Yeah.
At that time, I would say I was disillusioned.
Yeah. So if you can just, on the hindsight, if you can look at, if not money, if not that another 6 inches longer car, if not in a particular address, what were that younger Sanjeev chasing at that?
No, I did want to make money. ऐसी बात नहीं है. Right? But I didn't want to spend 25 years, 30 years of my life, to achieve this, and what will I have to show for my career other than the fact that I sold Horlicks.
Yeah.
Horlicks is a great brand, and GlaxoSmithKline is a great company.
Yeah.
Okay, no question about it.
Yeah.
Okay, and I had good friends there, and I learned a lot. But I did not want to make it my life's ambition. Right? So I didn't want to make money, ऐसी बात नहीं है. And I began with a couple of small ideas, a friend and I, two of us, 50-50 partnership, salary surveys, a trademarks database. And मुझे याद है 93 my friend and I went separate ways. He kept one company, I kept one company. We had started two companies. I kept InfoEdge. That idea was mine. He kept the trademarks thing. The idea was his. And मुझे याद है कि 94 की बात है. We were saying yes to whatever work came our way, just to somehow get by. So I got a call from somebody who'd been 1 year junior to me at IIM Ahmedabad. He was working for a multinational corporation in the Delhi office. And he said, do you guys do market research? Kar lenge? I was saying yes to everything that came my way. So they come and meet me. So I went to meet him. And he said, ये market research कराना है हमने consumer. तो आप कर लेंगे? Questionnaire, you'll draft and you'll go out and do field work and all that. I said, you will do it. Give a proposal. तो मैंने proposal दे दिया. I think for 40,000 रुपए, we'll do this assignment, I said. 40,000 रुपए 94 was decent money.
Yeah, of course.
You'd make about 20,000 profit, which is decent money for us. He looked at the proposal. He says, उस समय email नहीं था, so you had to give a physical proposal, hard copy print out. So I'd gone there to meet him with that. He looked at it and he said कि boss इसको आप 60,000 रुपए कर दो and give me the additional 20,000 rupees and the assignment is yours. And I said, I'll come back to you. Office तो घर पे ही था उस time, 7 quarter में. तो I thought about it. मैं 2-3 दिन सोया नहीं properly. I was thinking about tossing and turning. Because for the first time, it was a moment of truth for me. Am I willing to be dishonest to earn money?
Yeah.
And I came to the conclusion, यार हमें बेईमानी नहीं करनी है. हमने ना kickback देना है, ना tax evade करना है. हम नहीं करेंगे. So I got back to him saying, मेरे को नहीं करना. I don't want this assignment. Thank you so much. And I walked away. And उसके बाद से a switch flipped in my head. That I said, I'm not chasing money. I'm just chasing good work. And पैसा आएगा तो आएगा. And actually, the way it worked out is that पैसा आ गया. It took 3-4-5 years, but it came. But the whole thing was, we will do good work. We will not chase money. So, you are confronted with moments of truth and you take a call.
So if you look at the next phase of your life, when from an entrepreneur you started investing, and one of the most celebrated investment that you made and that made huge headlines is with Deepinder Goyal ji.
Yeah.
So, in that room, I'm sure there were other investors as well. And you chose to make that bet.
देखिए, Deepinder had one more expression of interest from a very well-known venture capitalist, bigger, better than us. But we made an offer which to him made sense. I think across the table, he kind of preferred us. So very often, if a founder chooses to go with you when he has a competing offer, it's because of the chemistry, because of the trust that you build across the table, because of the value he thinks you can add to his company, to him. And so we chose to invest in Deepinder for some reasons, and which I can articulate. And he chose to accept our offer, and the reason why you can ask him.
Yeah, someday we would love to have him as well to ask that question. But why did you invest? Why did you choose to invest in?
So I'll tell you the story of Zomato. Although when we invested, it was called FoodieBay. Naam baad mein badla hai. So there was a site called FoodieBay. I used to use it. My son used to use it. We are both foodies. And the great thing about FoodieBay, there were other restaurant listing sites also, but this is the only one that had all the menu cards. And somebody had taken the trouble to actually go and foot slog and do some pavement pounding and go to every restaurant in Delhi NCR and pick up the menu card and scan it and put it up. So ये मेहनत का काम है. It is not just software programming, right? And the great thing about the menu cards is that you can actually see someone deliver. At that time, there was no food delivery. Yeah. Okay. ये 2010 की बात है, 2009 की बात है. And the great thing about having all the menu cards in one place is that you could actually see by what dish, what price, which restaurant. तो अगर आप खान मार्केट लोधी रोड जाना चाहते हो कोई Saturday, Sunday for lunch or for dinner, you can check out here, should I go to this restaurant or that restaurant? And make your decision before you go. So you know where you're going. I found that very useful. My son found it very useful. Now, Hitesh, who's co-founder of InfoEdge, the CEO, I didn't know, but he was also using the website. We had begun our investment program in 2007. हमने 3-4-5 कंपनियां करनी थी. And I was leading that program. So Hitesh told me, have you seen the site FoodieBay? I said, yeah, I use it all the time. He said, so do I. He said, why haven't you thought of investing in it? And the penny dropped. I said, yeah, why haven't I thought of investing in it? How stupid am I? So then I went to Network Solutions. I did a who is search on the domain name FoodieBay. I found Deepinder Goyal admin contact. I did a Google search on Deepinder Goyal and I found an email ID somewhere. So I sent that email ID, a cold email saying, are you the same Deepinder Goyal who has launched FoodieBay? If so, well done. My name is Sanjeev Bikchandani. This is my mobile number. I want to speak to you. Can you please reach out to me? Deepinder ko mail mila, and for 2 days he didn't respond because he thought I was a salesperson on Naukri and I want to sell him a Naukri subscription. Then somebody told him that, hey, no, this is the founder. So that's when Deepinder called me up, 2 दिन बाद, and we met up. And I asked him a simple question and I said, yaar, ye idea kahan se aaya to do all the menu cards? Because nobody else has it. And it's a brilliant idea. So he says, देखो, I used to work in Bain Consulting in Gurgaon. Office में 50-60 लोग थे. Mostly young, mostly single, mostly male. Many living away from their hometowns. They were not at home. What it meant was that there was no mummy or bibi to give them lunch from home. Office hours, working hours were long in consulting. Invariably, you had 2, sometimes 3 meals in the office. And people needed to get lunch. There was a cafeteria in the office which would not serve lunch, but you could bring your own food and eat it. So to make life easy for people working in the office, the admin team had collated all the menu cards of all the restaurants that would deliver to that location and kept it in 2 file folders in the office, in the canteen, in the cafeteria. He said, that was a shared resource. You couldn't take it to your desk. He says, 1 baje, everybody wanted lunch. One line lagati thi to access that file folder. And you'd get it for 30 seconds and you'd decide, then phone up a restaurant, place the order, then go back to your desk you had deadlines to meet. Your boss is sitting on your head. And then when the food came, you came back, you paid for it, and then you ate it. It's very inconvenient. So I came one weekend and I scanned all the menu cards and uploaded them on my personal page on the office intranet. Says 3 days later, the IT infra guy came to me and said, boss, what have you done? Why is 95% of internal traffic going to your page? He says, that's when the penny dropped and I realized that, yaar, it's a sabka problem, mera problem nahi hai. And there is value in aggregation of menu cards. And when I learned that, I began to go out on weekends on my motorcycle to all the restaurants and picking up menu cards. When there were 800 of them, I launched the site. So हर weekend में वो 20-30 Saturday को 20-30 Sunday को वो 60 per weekend. In what 2-3 months he had all the menu cards of Delhi, of all the good restaurants, 800 उस समय. Now there are many thousands. And he launched the site. The moment he launched the site, traffic began to come because people said it's unique hai, including me. So you see, the customer had given him a signal. You're solving an unsolved problem. That's why they were coming. With his personal page. He launched the site, traffic began to come. So that's when we figured that he's onto something. कि traffic अपने आप आ रहा है, they don't have to advertise. और traffic बढ़ रहा है, means word of mouth सही है. And that's when we said he's onto something. Customer insight है, customer बोल रहा है, and so we should do it. Plus the people were good. You talk to them across the table, you could make out they're good.
That's exactly my question. Idea and the founder?
Both.
If you look at, there was a time when for 13 years they did not make profit. Do you have some understanding that उस समय मेरे को doubt आना शुरू हो गया था?
मेरे को doubt तो कभी नहीं था. The only risk ever was कि what if they don't get the next round? Because beyond the point, it had gone too big for our balance sheet to support. अगर उनको 200-300-400 करोड़ चाहिए, it's not as if we were going to be able to do it. So you needed external investment. The first 5 rounds we were solo. First 4 rounds we were solo. 5th round is when we got in co-investors. Because the rounds had become so large that we could not manage to do it alone. So it became this thing which was consuming more capital than we ourselves could put in.
And then there came a time when IPO आया, then you pulled out a major chunk of money from table when
not a major chunk, a very small percentage of our shareholding. So it was actually a small portion. I think we had sort of advice from the board, our board, कि भाई जितना आपने capital डाला है वो निकाल दो. तो उसके बाद you're running on break even.
Okay.
Now see, we have effectively zero money in Zomato. Everything there is profit.
So Sanjeev sir, if you look at all the companies that you have invested, I'm sure you would have said no to other companies as well. कुछ हुआ ऐसा किसको आपने no कहा हो और अभी लगता है कि मेरे को उस पे invest करना चाहिए था?
You're taking yes no decisions all the time. Sometimes you invest in a company which afterwards you say यार नहीं करना चाहिए था. Okay. Sometimes you say no to a company where you say कि invest करना चाहिए था. But what I have learned, and I look at it philosophically, कि देखो, you don't worry about the ones you say no to. You worry about the ones you say yes to. If they're doing all right, you're doing all right. So because we have Zomato and Policy Bazaar, उसके बाद 100 खून माफ है. Okay, and so we said no to Flipkart, we said no to Snapdeal, we said no to Lenskart, we said no to a whole bunch of companies that went, we said no to Ola, we said no to a whole bunch of companies that went on to do well. And we would have made a lot of money, a lot more money, if we had said yes. But it's okay.
So would it be okay if I can ask you this question, that why did you say no to Ola for that matter? Idea, founder.
See, no, founders are all very good. Okay. So I'll tell you, when we met Bhavish, his idea was different. His idea was that बॉम्बे से महाबलेश्वर टैक्सी जाती है सवारी के साथ, वापसी खाली आती है, मैं वापसी भरूंगा, एंड आई विल टेक अ कट ऑन दैट. एंड आई एम सेइंग टू माई सेल्फ, ओके, कितनी टैक्सी आती हैं, मार्केट में सीजनलिटी है कि नहीं है, कितनी में वापसी भर पाएगा, तो कितने पैसे मिलेंगे टोटल, उसका कितना परसेंटेज आएगा इसको, तो कितने पैसे बनाएगा. एंड on the issue of total addressable market, we said this can't become a big company. We were wrong, because we should have gone by the founder and not by the idea then. The idea then was small. The idea eventually became huge. So mistake. We would have made a lot of money if we invested. This is one instance where going by the idea alone is not enough. Go by the founder, because the idea will evolve. A good founder will evolve the idea. When you did Zomato, it was a restaurant listing site with menu cards. Eventually, it's a food delivery company, which is very different, much larger. And now it is Blinkit also, even larger. When we went in, it was just restaurant listings with menu cards.
And if you look at the Policy Bazaar, since you said कि Policy Bazaar went well and Zomato did well, 100 खून माफ. तो उसमें से एक
which is of course not the right way to look at it, and that's not the way we look at it actually when we invest, because each company's investment is important. It's important to us, and we are careful investors. We are thoughtful investors, but we recognize that we are in a business which is early stage and therefore high risk, and we know that some will succeed and some will not financially.
So what do you think? What is the primary difference between the kind of returns that you could make on Zomato over Policy Bazaar?
They are both very good. They're both very, very good.
What are the similarities and what's the difference?
Zomato gets more press because Zomato is a habit. Blinkit is a habit. Okay, I'm willing to bet on your phone, you've got at least one quick commerce app.
Yeah.
Probably Blinkit, I don't know. And you've got at least one food delivery app, probably Zomato, since you're in Delhi.
Yeah.
And the market, Zomato and Blinkit are market leaders here. Maybe you have two. Maybe you have Swiggy also. And maybe you have a second or third quick commerce app also. I'm willing to bet.
Yeah.
Which ones do you have?
Zomato.
Zomato?
Yeah.
Only one?
Only Zomato. Yeah.
And on quick commerce?
Blinkit.
Only Blinkit? Okay.
Yeah.
But there are people who have 2 and 3 also. I have more than one, purely for competitive benchmarking.
Yeah.
And, I'm on the board of Eternal. But yeah, I mostly use Zomato and I mostly use Blinkit.
Yeah.
Almost always. Just for competitive benchmarking to look at, I look at the others. Now, I'm willing to bet that you possibly don't have the Policy Bazaar app.
I don't have.
Because you buy insurance once a year, twice a year.
Yeah.
Zomato, you order 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Blinkit, you order 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Right? That's why. So, for that reason, Zomato may have, Eternal may have got more press for us as investors than Policy Bazaar. Policy Bazaar is also very, very successful financially.
Yeah. Would it be possible if you can just share one real instance where you had a disagreement with the founder?
Oh, I have disagreed.
Where you have invested in.
I have disagreed with Deepinder Goyal 15 times.
Where he did not agree to what you were saying.
See, I'll tell you, as an investor, you're not running the company. Okay, it's the founders who are running the company. So you will suggest, they decide. And you have to accept the fact that they will decide. So I have disagreed with Deepinder Goyal 15 times. 14 times I was right. The 15th time, he was spectacularly right. And that decision saved the company. So I had disagreed 14 times on international expansion. Every time they'd go to international markets, I said, don't do it. Just focus on India. But they went ahead, right? The 15th time, he came and he said, I want to do food delivery. And I said, don't do it. It'll consume too much capital. He said, we have to do it, and he went and did it. And really, it was food delivery that defined the company, that saved the company during COVID, that built the company. So he was wrong 14 times, but it didn't matter. The 15th time, he was right, and it mattered a lot.
How easy, difficult is it for you to take a step back?
You have no choice. You have to, because you can't run the company. You're not there 24/7.
Sanjeev sir, not choice is one thing, but there's something that you go through to absorb that
No, I think
disagreement.
See, I'll tell you. No. See, it's like this. As an investor, see, you have to understand why does somebody become a founder? You don't become a founder because you're looking for a new boss. You become a founder because you want independence.
That's a good one.
And as an investor, if you try to be the boss, they just cut you out. Because he's looking for independence. He's not looking for a new boss. So you got to suggest and sit back. You got to have conversations and then sit back. And then the founders will decide what they want to do. Another time, like the 16th time, Deepinder I disagreed.
Yeah.
Well, so, Deepinder came to the investment committee after the company went public and said, I want to buy Blinkit. And we were nervous on the board. And there was enough kicking of tires. And we said, and I was on the investment committee, and I said, listen, man, your main business is making a loss. Your share price is down. Investors are nervous. Shareholders are nervous. Blinkit is making a huge loss. Why do you want two loss-making business? You have enough cash in the bank, but why do you want to have two loss-making business at the same time? He said, this will make the food delivery business make a profit in 2 quarters. I'm confident. I said, 2 quarters baad take over. He said, nahi, the window opportunity will go away. So this thing kept going back and forth, where there was pushback, and I was given the pushback, I must say. And finally, he said, trust me. I know how to do it. I'll do it. Right? And we said, okay, we'll trust you. So we took a leap of faith. They went and did it, and they executed brilliantly. And Blinkit is where it is today. And Zomato is profitable. And so there were 2 big decisions on which Deepinder was right. And I was wrong. One was the decision to go into food delivery. The second was the decision to acquire Blinkit.
Yeah. So if you look at, what do you think that all these founders that you have interacted with, what makes them who they are? I mean, what is the primary difference between these founders and all the other people who are equally intelligent, equally coming from similar pedagogy, and yet they're not able to make it as successful as them financially, social status?
I think we have respect for all founders. Whether they succeed or they don't succeed. Because a founder, an investor only risks his or her money. A founder risks his or her life and career. An investor has a portfolio of companies. अगर 10 की 3 कामयाब हुई तो investor कामयाब हो गया. But a founder is only one life. He doesn't have a portfolio of lives. And he or she is betting their lives.
Their life on that,
Right? So the social risk they're taking is actually much more than the financial risk. Right? So you're sacrificing, you're tightening your belt, you're taking a low salary, and we respect that. Whether the founder succeeds or does not succeed as well. 8-10 साल लगा रहे हैं, 12 साल लगा रहे हैं, फिर भी कामयाब नहीं हो रहे हैं, they're risking their lives.
I got smile on my faces because I've always seen you as an evangelist for startups. Evangelist for the startup founders as well, be it sometime there was a backlash that came from your way when somebody made this statement that आज के जो startups होते हैं, they are only making food delivery apps and they're just spending time into this one. What happened in that?
There are various points of view. My point is simple. Every economic activity, every act of entrepreneurship, every startup being a founder starting a startup is a positive act. Now, you can choose what business you want to be in, and it's a free country and a free market. We ourselves as investors हमने 135 कंपनियां में इन्वेस्ट किया है till now, 135. उसमें से more than 50 are AI and deep tech. So we have a list of more than 50 AI and deep tech startups we've invested in. So there's enough activity happening in AI deep tech also, and there are enough investors investing there also. And yes, consumer bhi ho raha hai. So there will be all sorts of businesses in India. It's a large country, 1.4 billion people, and these 1.4 billion people have needs which companies fulfill. So it's for a startup and a founder, you're free to choose what you want to do. And there's nothing wrong in doing a food delivery app. I mean, at the end of the day, if Zomato is as successful as it is doing food delivery, that they are then able to go and acquire, Grofers and make it Blinkit, or Blinkit when they acquired it, and then grow that. That's the success of Startup India.
And that was interesting, because when Piyush Goyalji made that statement, you responded.
It was more, I think, to provoke us.
Yeah.
But the truth is, and I appreciate that, and we had conversations about it after that.
Yeah.
With Piyush Goyalji. What you're going to see now going forward in India, enough AI and deep tech happening.
Yeah.
And the government has got a very solid program in AI and deep tech to make that happen. And agar aap dekhenge, at the end of the day, Zomato may be food delivery, but it is based on a technology backbone.
Of course. Without that, I think no startup could sustain and grow. And for so many years, first you were sitting at the steering wheel of running organization. Then there came a time your co-founder Hiteshji, he started running the organization as the CEO. And then you spend a lot of time in mentoring startup founders and being an investor.
Mentoring is a big word which I don't fully understand. We just have conversations.
Yeah.
We just have conversations.
Yeah. Do you miss being in the building?
Actually running, pehle 2 saal, I was kind of jobless because, we had just got a very small portfolio and small companies, and I was not fully occupied. Okay. And I used to sort of, and there was nobody reporting to me, 2.5 people. So my team was small. Prior to that, I had been used to saying something and it'll get done. Now I had to get used to people not listening to me. And so you've moved from giving directions to merely suggesting. So उसमें 2 साल लगे to get used to it, for the portfolio to grow enough to say, okay, fine, I'm fully occupied and I'm used to people not listening to me.
Yeah. What part of you continues to push you, encourage you, inspire you to invest when people are reserved?
I think when you meet young people, you draw energy from them. Deepinder was 28 when we invested. Right? I was 47. So 20 साल का फर्क था. When you meet young people, you draw energy from them. When you look at their fresh ideas, their new ideas, you draw energy from that. So I draw inspiration and energy from the founders we meet, the young founders we meet.
Since you spoke about that, you have a team of 160 people dedicated to AI and deep tech.
In Naukri and in the operating businesses.
Yeah. When the world is talking about that AI is going to eat away a lot of jobs, you have 160 people dedicated to that subject.
To make our products better and superior and more relevant to our customers.
Yeah.
So it is to launch new products for us, and it is to improve our current products.
And what do you think? How is AI going to impact the economy of the country? That's one. And the way businesses are run.
So, we don't know. Honest answer is we don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So will AI replace some jobs? Possibly so.
Yeah.
Will it create new jobs? Almost definitely so.
Yeah.
The challenge is the people who lose the jobs may not be the same people who are getting the new jobs.
Yes.
And this may cause some distress.
Yeah.
कि भाई overall economy में jobs बढ़ गए, but कुछ गई उनको शायद वो jobs नहीं मिले. Now, मैं 2 कहानियां सुनाऊंगा इसमें. एक कहानी ये है कि I was in my first job after college in 1985. Rajiv Gandhi की सरकार थी. Government announced that we are going to put computers in the banks. उस समय banks were mostly nationalized banks.
टोकन मिला करते थे आपको.
the All India Bank Employees Association was one of the most powerful trade unions in the country. And there was immediate opposition. We will lose jobs, we will replace the computers. And when the government said, nothing doing, we're going ahead. So पहले जो computer आए, the employees refused to touch them and refused to use them. They were lying in their dust jackets in the bank branches.
Yeah.
But gradually, people began to use them. And we discovered that nobody lost his or her job. But people got more productive. They did stuff faster. They did stuff better. They serviced the customers better. किसी की नौकरी नहीं गई. So that's one story. That's one incident, one instance in the past. What critics of that argument say is that, when the computers first came in, it took a decade for them to penetrate and proliferate. The way AI is proliferating, the speed it is proliferating, it's really rapid. It's the fastest thing thus far in the world. And that is a problem. It's true. And it's proliferating really fast. So you might lose jobs before new jobs come.
Before you upgrade your operating system, your internal operating system.
The second story I tell is that I went to IMA in 1987. The first computers that came into the IIMs for use by the students, the first PCs, not the computers, first PCs that came in. There were minis and mainframe earlier, but PC nahi aaye the. The first PCs that came in was 1986. So 1989, when I graduated, I was the first batch that had spent a full 2 years
with the PC.
Using shared PC. There were only 14 for the whole class, for 2 batches to be shared. But still, you got enough computer time. You were adept. You got adept at it. Yeah. So I was the first batch that graduated having full 2 years of using a PC. So when we went to the workplace, we were PC native, PC literate. When I went into my job in HMM after IMA in marketing, 14-15 लोग होंगे. PCs 3 थे या 4 थे. One with the secretary of the marketing, head of marketing, one with the secretary of the marketing manager, and 1 or 2 for common use, shared. Now, all the people there were smarter than me, or as smart as me.
Yeah.
All of them were good business schools. But none of them were PC native, PC literate. I could use the damn thing. I could make, earlier there used to be presentations you'd make on an acetate transparency with a marker. I could do it on a software with a printout. So I had the skill, I had the, and the ability. So I became slightly indispensable on that front. And now I look back on it, if at that time there'd been sacking there, I would not have got sacked. So what I tell people is, आप एक काम करो. You don't worry about औरों के जॉब्स जाएंगे नहीं, दुनिया भर में जॉब्स जाएंगे नहीं जाएंगे. आपकी जॉब जाएगी नहीं आएगी, और अगर जॉब गई आपको दूसरी जॉब मिलेगी नहीं मिलेगी. And to ensure that, you master 3 AI platforms every quarter. How to use it. Relevant AI platforms. And if you do that, आपकी जॉब नहीं जाएगी. और अगर आपकी जॉब गई, आपको दूसरी जॉब मिल जाएगी. So the key is to learn how to use AI. AI enabled. So if you don't do AI will be done to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. It's an absolute honor